Welcome back to Jersey Matters. Hundreds of people in New Jersey lost loved ones when the towers came down in Lower Manhattan on September 11th, 2001, including Kathy Cunningham from Spring Lake, who made it her mission to honor her brother, Donald Robertson, through the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Kathy, thanks so much for doing this today. I'm wondering, as we come up on any anniversary, but this one, which is 20 years, a momentous anniversary, how are you feeling? What goes through your head?
Yeah, it is a momentous anniversary, as you said. But quite honestly, it's no different today this year as it was in years prior. It's always surreal, unreal that it happened to all of us, to our country. But every year we pick up and we move forward and we make the best of it. We're always grateful when it's September 12th and we wake up and the sun comes up and we can move forward. But every year is difficult, Larry. It's been 20 years and that is just hard to believe, isn't it? It's hard to believe that 20 years ago we were attacked in the way that we were. And what is, though, hopeful is that 20 years later, we've taken such an awful day, horrific day, and turned it into something positive and hopeful by doing good deeds.
Yeah, right. They say, and I think this happened for a lot of people that weren't directly affected by 9/11. I guess, though, you could argue that in a way we were all directly affected, but not like you. And it is interesting how sometimes, memories fade. And it's in distance, it's a little bit more faded. And there's some people that are alive right now that don't know anything about 9/11 except what they read in the history books.
Absolutely.
That's got to be different for you, though. It has to be much different for the people who lost a loved one.
Well, we live it. We live it every day. It never goes away. We have that void for the last 20 years of my brother not being here and his children growing up and milestones happening and graduations and weddings and, events that he's not present at. So we live that every day and it could take you down. And so what we choose to do is to turn it into something, like I said, that's bright. We always say there's brightness at the end of the day, that goodness overcomes evil. So the best way for me, it's truly therapeutic, is to be able to and be a proud member of the foundation, on the board of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And so the best way for me is to turn that sadness into something good and positive and hopeful. We show people how resilient we are, not just me, but as a nation, as a country. In this corridor of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we lost so many souls. Everybody knows somebody that was lost that day. And so, and we all know, there's a very sad family connection of all of us that have lost the loved ones that day. But, in the end, 2,977 souls were lost that day. And so, we keep their memory, my brother's memory, Stephen Siller's memory, all those lost that day will not be in vain. We will turn it into something good. And that's what I am blessed to be able to do with Team Shamrock in honor of my brother, Don Robertson, and with the Siller and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. How lucky am I to be on the board of such an amazing organization, have Frank Siller as our leader. And all the good stuff that we do, Larry, and, with building smart homes for the most catastrophically injured service members, for paying off the mortgages of those first responders lost in the line of duty, Gold Star families. If you go to war and you don't come home, we will pay the mortgage off. If you have children, young children, we pay your mortgage off. So we have taken that tragedy and turned it into a tribute to all those lost that day, not just my brother and Stephen, but all those lost that day.
Yeah, you did a wonderful transition from 9/11 and the wonderful work that's being done now. And I do want to talk to you more about Team Shamrock, and I do want to talk to you more about Tunnel to Towers, but I do want to take you back first before we go there to 9/11. And I know you've been asked this so many times, but we're coming up on the 20th anniversary. Can you tell us about how you found out and what your family went through in the days after 9/11?
Oh my goodness. It was like it was yesterday, truly. And honestly, as September looms in on us, the weather, just the smell of everything brings you back to that time, how beautiful and crisp and clear it was. It was a Tuesday morning. I work out of the Atlantic Club in Wall, New Jersey. I'm a trainer there. And so I had taken that morning off to go to the hospital with a friend whose husband was having surgery. And I got up to Jersey Shore Medical Center and saw that there were tons of people outside crying. And I was like, what's going on? And that's when it hit me that the tower had been hit, that the second tower had been hit. So I was at the hospital. And I knew my brother was in the North Tower. I just didn't know how high up he was. And so it all came flooding in very quickly that Donnie, is on the 105th floor. He worked for a 35-year-old father of four from Rumson, New Jersey, born and bred Jersey boy. And he had 4 children. He went to work that day on the 105th floor, Cantor Fitzgerald. Larry, very similar to me, chatty, always have a phone, engaging. We never heard a peep from him. We found out he was not at his desk through a friend that called out. And so he was somewhere in transition on the elevator, chatting about the Giant game, probably. And we like to think that that elevator just kept going. That kind of gives you a little peace and closure. But we never found him. We never recovered anything. We never got a phone call. There was no closure. There's never any closure. We don't have a gravesite to go to. But we had several celebrations of his life. He was a character larger than life. He was a college lacrosse player. And like I said, just the life of the party, a big chatter, a good looking man, a great dresser. And he was like a magnet. You wanted to be around him. He made you feel good. So when that hit, like I said, I can't explain to you the devastation, the loss, and the hole in all of us. It is beyond devastating. And for my parents, actually, my parents are still alive. They're 87 and 85. And a segue is that the Tunnel to Towers and Team Shamrock gives them hope. It keeps their son alive. And so I became the #1 fundraiser for the foundation for about 5 or 6 years. Again, I have a great opportunity being at the Atlantic Club every day and being on a microphone and having a story. God knows, I wish I didn't have this story, as you can imagine. But when you share it and you speak from the heart, and again, I share with you and your listeners and your viewers that I do speak from the heart. I never have anything prepared. I speak from the heart about my family and about my brother and about what went down that day. And so to be at the Atlantic Club and to be able to share that story, everybody jumped on board and it was easy to fundraise. Our country is amazing. They are generous, caring, patriotic souls that jumped on board with me. And it was easy to become the #1 fundraiser. So after about 5 years of being the #1 fundraiser with the foundation, I came up with Team Shamrock, how to ramp up this program, how to do more good, how to make more money for the foundation. So Team Shamrock was developed because Donnie had a Shamrock tattoo on his hip and a love for our Irish heritage. And so Team Shamrock developed, and it took off like wildfire. I cannot tell you.
Well, hold on. You've mentioned it like 3 times. What is it exactly? We all know Tunnel to Towers. There may be some people that are unfamiliar with Team Shamrock. What is it?
Well, what we do with the foundation, and this is brilliant for the foundation, is that they have teams. So when we have our New York City run, everybody creates it, not everybody, but we create teams and we compete against each other in fundraising tactics. So we have huge sponsors, GMC, Ashley Furnishings, Mohawk Flooring, Carpet One, Home Depot, and everybody comes together and we have these fundraising teams. And so Team Shamrock would beat GMC. Team Shamrock would beat Carpet One. Carpet One flew me out to their national convention a couple of years ago to speak out in Salt Lake City because I kick their butt every year in fundraising. And they're national. They'd be like, all right, you're coming out and you're going to talk to us how you do it. There is no I in team, as you know. I cannot do this solo. I have a host of wonderful friends and family and people that do not want to forget, who are committed to never forgetting. I have a passion and they have drank the juice and they are on board. So Team Shamrock became over 500 green shirts running in the New York City Tunnel to Towers run. So, and we have raised over $1 million to date. And Frank Siller is a very smart guy. He said to me, Kathy, when you raise 500,000, we'll put your brother's name on a smart home. And those smart homes are the homes that we dedicate to these catastrophically
Right.
injured service members. So that's all he needed to do. He dangled that carrot and off I went. We raised $500,000 and we dedicated a home in Pennsylvania to Marine Corporal Tim Donnelly with Donnie's name on a plaque out in front. And what an honor. And my parents were there. We took a big busload of Team Shamrockers out there. We raised another $500,000 and we built the first smart home in New Jersey in Howell for Marine Corporal Scott Noakes. And he's a double amputee blind young man who went to Afghanistan and came back with severe dysentery and lost both legs and his eyesight. So we built that home, another $500,000 we raised, and we dedicated that home to Scott and in my brother's name the day before Christmas Eve, my brother's birthday, not last year, the year before. We're now working on our third smart home.
Wow.
So, Frank was very crafty and very smart when he said to me, Kathy, you raise that money and we'll put Donnie's name on that house. And so that's how Team Shamrock rolls.
How can people get involved?
Wow, we have a lot of really amazing programs. The easiest one is our $11 a month program. And they go to tunnel2towers.org. That's our website, tunnel2towers.org. They can contribute $11 a month. We've got amazing people that do PSAs for us. Donnie Wahlberg, Conor McGregor,
Sure.
Rudy Giuliani, people that have jumped on with support is overwhelming. So you can do that $11 a month. That's a no-brainer. You and I spend that on coffee more a week. So we like to put that out there because it's not overwhelming for anybody. Anybody can afford $11 a month. But you can also go to that website and you can donate to Team Shamrock. You can click onto Team Shamrock for our fundraising goals as well. There's always ways to get involved. We're always looking for volunteers. We thrive on volunteers.
I do hope that in honor of your brother and in honor of all of those who died on 9/11, people do contribute. It's a wonderful way to contribute, and it's not difficult to do. I do need to wrap this up, though, and I wanted to get one last thought from you about 9/11, the original 9/11, and the distance now from that, and some people forgetting. What would you say to them? What do you want people to take away from that day that they need to remember and need to keep with them now?
Well, we say to everyone, my goal is to never forget. My goal is to make sure that you never forget, that your listeners and viewers never forget. Our goal is to spread the word, not only on the Tunnel to Towers, but on how you can take a tragedy and turn it around. We always say, if you're having a bad day, go out and do something good for somebody. It'll make you feel better. So I just want people to remember that day, to go out on 9/11 and every day and be kind, be good, be proud of where you live and give back. Give back. You can make a difference in the smallest way. We don't want 9/11 to ever be forgotten. We don't want it to be like we saw before. It could be just a chapter in a history book for these young kids now, that weren't even born. I'm honored to be able to go around and speak in schools and share the message that it's possible to do good, to make a difference, get out there, and to make sure people never forget 9/11 and those 2,977 souls that gave their lives that day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll all be thinking about you and your brother and your family on that day.
Larry, you're amazing. I thank you. I just say to everyone, God bless this wonderful country that we live in. We're really fortunate and blessed.
Kathy Cunningham from Spring Lake for Tunnel to Towers. Next on Jersey Matters.
I'm Phil Andrews, and coming up on Jersey Matters, we will speak to a 9/11 survivor who escaped the World Trade Center building. We'll also talk to an air traffic controller who was on duty that day.